There are only a handful of companies on earth that actually make the chips everything runs on. So I took 5 different semiconductor ETFs, 5 different rule books, and asked one question: do they all secretly own the same companies? Let's find out. So if you've seen my other videos before, you know how this works. I grab the biggest ETFs in the theme, run them through StockSmarty, and find a consensus. So these stocks every fund agrees on. I've done AI before. Today it's what sits underneath AI. Everything on your phone, underneath the data center, semiconductors. Now here's what makes chips different from AI. With AI, the funds we were picking from had hundreds of companies. For semiconductors, the whole investability universe is tiny. We're talking maybe 30-40 companies worldwide that generally matter. So the real question isn't whether these funds overlap, it's how much. Are 5 different ETFs actually 5 copies of the same bet? So let's find out. So we're in the StockSmarty tool. We're going to be looking at 5 ETFs today. So we'll be looking at StoXX, which tracks the famous stock index, SMH, which is mainly UK investors, HSBC's Nasdaq Global Semiconductor Fund, XSD, reaches deeper into mid caps, and then finally SEMI, which is probably the odd one out. It's an actively managed fund, so it's a human picking all the stocks, not an index. And if anyone's going to disagree with the crowd, it's this one. So we've got 4 index funds, 1 human stock picker, and then we'll load them into StockSmarty and see what the funds really agree on. So I've already selected my stocks in the stock picker tab. So if I go to continue, I'm going to lower my dividend threshold all the way to 0 so I can see complete analysis of all the stocks. I'm going to leave my analysis method at method A. I want to view up to the 50 stocks within that portfolio. I'm going to invest my hypothetical £10,000, and then I'm going to analyze now. So what the tool does in the background, it analyzes the individual portfolios, sees where the consensus lies by frequency and weighting, and then it will give us the results as follows. So we've got 30 stocks which qualified for our portfolio. The average dividend is low and at 0.66%. We've got 70 in our backup stocks, so we obviously realize 100 stocks in total. The highest yield in our qualified portfolio is 4.02%. And funnily enough, we've got one sector, and that sector being information technology. Shock. So if we scroll down to see some of the stocks that are qualified for our portfolio, so again we had 30 stocks in our portfolio, and we've got how many here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9 stocks which appeared in all 5 of the portfolios, which are no surprise at all given the names that are here. So obviously you've got the likes of NVIDIA, Broadcom, Micron, AMD, Intel, Texas, and so forth. And then scrolling down, we've got others that appeared in a good amount of those ETFs until we get to our backup stocks. So if you haven't seen the videos before, there are 2 things that are needed to qualify for our portfolio. One of which it needs to appear in at least 2 out of the number of stocks, number of ETFs you've selected, and or it needs to meet the dividend criteria. So we set the dividend criteria to 0 in this case, so there is no dividend criteria essentially, but these stocks only appeared in 1 of 5, so there's no consensus between these stocks, between the 5 ETFs we've chosen to analyse in this FIVE. So again, if we can see the allocation of the funds of the £10,000, it's chosen to weight most of that into the top 3 given the score they've been given, and the score is again based on frequency and weighting. And then as we go down, we can see that the tool's weighted less money against those in the portfolio that the score is not so high. So again, we can dig into each stock by clicking on the eye, so we can see the StockSmarty score that we give it at the top. This consists of certain metrics such as valuation stability, its track record, profitability, and capital efficiency. So in this case with NVIDIA, we're giving it a 3.5 out of 5 score. The PE ratio is particularly high, as is the beta at the moment. So we can do that for some other stocks. So for example, Intel, not doing too great at the moment. Good at 1.9 out of 5. You may wish to avoid this stock. Reasons being it's not profitable at the moment and it's got a very high beta. So again, if I wanted to personalize my portfolio, I could remove Intel because I'm not very confident in it. And once I remove something, it appears now down in our backup stocks. So again, if I wanted to add it back, I click add and it's back where it belongs. And because we've added it in manually now, after removing, it's in yellow. And again, if you're not clear on what these colors mean and how to use the tool, I'll link a video at the top where I describe how the tool is intended to be used and its benefits, etc. So again, going down the list, we can see there's a number of chip manufacturers here. And if I wanted to get a AI view on the portfolio, again, I click AI portfolio analysis. And if I give this a few seconds to run, then what it will show me is things like portfolio overview, now stocks in my portfolio, a summary of those stocks, summary of the dividend income, which is obviously quite low in this case, sustainability, any sector concentration, which is obviously quite heavily in IT in this case, any geographical exposure, risk profile, and then up to the individual details of the top 25 holdings in portfolio, again with a summary underneath. So again, what I could do, I can edit my portfolio, edit this portfolio, add, remove stocks. If there's something missing that I'd want to add in for whatever reason, I can do that. Or I can save this portfolio. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this as Semiconductor ETFs. Save that. And then this takes me back to my portfolio page where I can see the portfolio I just created along with the previous portfolios I've created for other videos, which we can go through at some point. And if I click into my view, I've got the version I created and the date. I've got some summary details around this portfolio, and then most importantly, I've got obviously the stocks within this portfolio that I can then choose to go to my trading platforms such as Trading 212 or Invest Engine or the likes, and then create a pie or a portfolio which matches the portfolio I have here. And again, in the view, you can click into the dividend calendar. We can see what's coming up for payments, what has been paid, and then in addition, we can click on the portfolio news icon, and then what this will do is we'll search the internet for any stories associated with the stocks within our portfolio. It will summarize the top 5 and then give you clickable links. To go to those certain news articles, and it kind of gives you a consensus sensitivity. It gives you a sentiment rating here, whether it's positive or negative, or what stocks it appears to reflect. So again, that's a quick summary. So again, in this portfolio, like I said, we're pretty heavy and pretty bullish on NVIDIA, Broadcom, Micron, AMD, Intel, Texas. But again, do your own research. This is not investment advice. This is purely a research tool. And again, please have a look at the tool. Come to the website. It's free to sign up. You don't spend any money. You get a certain amount of rebalances and analysis in the first month, and then thereafter you still get one rebalance or one search every month thereafter. And if you want some of the more advanced features, then it's there for someone to pay if you wish. But again, please like and comment the video. It really helps me out. And if you have any suggestions for the next one, let me know. And yeah, happy trading, and I'll see you in the next video.